I want to say some announcements. The first thing is, if you learn something new, subscribe to my channel. If you find this video helpful and informative, don't just keep it to yourself. Share this insight with your friends, share it with your communities and your investor group chats, and hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Comment down below anything you would like to share or piggyback off of what I state. You're more than welcome to, and I also encourage feedback. I always appreciate that from you all. It tells me and it shows me and it confirms to me why I do this and why I will continue to do this. So that means a lot. And for all my viewers, your time to switch from a spectator to a participator is a click away from a button, and that is the subscribe button. You can hit that subscribe button so that you can get notified when I post daily videos, and you're more than welcome to comment down below and hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. So there are some things here. Let's go ahead and look at this chart that this chart is pointing out. So obviously the bulls want to bring this back. As you can see, there was a slight drop from yesterday. Today, right? Bears tore it down and leveled out, and it's getting really close to the 50-day moving average. The Bulls' goal is to get over that. Well, what the Bulls don't really want to remember or are trying to get over that line, right? Well, it started here, back on the 13th. And from that point forward, the Bears have gained control. Now, could the Bulls turn this around? Yeah, I'm sure. But this stock got rejected from 1646, and from that moment forward, this has just gone downhill. And even if the bulls reappear, yeah, it'll bounce around and stuff, but 1646 is like the ideal number to know how much more bullish this can get. That was the highest point this stock reached. So that's very, very significant when it comes to this stock. But I wanted to go ahead and do a sidetrack of things. And the first thing I want to show you guys is today the market cap of this company is 12.736 billion. And that's with everybody putting in money and investing into the stock and so forth. But as this continues to lose its value and work its way back down, obviously that market cap can start to change significantly. Now I want to go back to the history of this company from 2019 to 2020, right? Neil's debt to equity ratio 2019-2020. And I want us to see something. So this stock was at one point in the positive. Even though they had long-term debt, they had shareholders' equity that was in the positive side of things, and the debt to equity was obviously pretty big, but it wasn't something that wasn't manageable because over time, I guess they were doing projects. That's why they've taken on more debt to go ahead and make some future prospective innovations to the company and so forth from what they're doing. But from that point forward, which was March 31st, 2019, all the way till 2020, March 31st, this has been in a negative shareholders' equity position. Has that changed since March? I'm assuming it has. So wherever this was on March 31st, if it gets below that, then we're talking about, even if this has equity, shareholders equity now, and the long-term debt has gone down quite a bit and so forth, the problem here is that it's been with a negative sign in front of the number for quite some time. And negative shareholders equity is a red flag for any investor because it means a company's liabilities exceeds its assets. So this company doesn't have enough assets to even take on its long-term liabilities or even liabilities that it has in general. Now, here we have figures of 1.2 billion, and then this is negative 1.14 billion. So worst case scenario, let's just say to eat up this shareholders' equity and bring it to a positive mark and this long-term debt, I'm assuming that this is only a total of like about $2.5 billion. Let's just round it up. So the market cap right now is 12.736 billion. This can mean two things. That with this market cap, the company has been able to bring themselves to a positive shareholders equity position and eat up long-term debt, or, which is going to be the scarier part, when we see updated information, because this is the last updated information I'm able to access, and that was like 4 months ago, is the long-term debt has gone up with the market, right? Capitalization of the company right now. So when they release that, we will really know. But let's just say long-term debt either got paid off and it got lowered to something like this, or let's say it went from 1.02 to this. Well, the market capitalization can actually change this into a positive note. Until then, we won't really know. But this is a really high risk stock if the shareholders' equity by any chance in the near future, once all this debt to equity ratio historical data is released. And as we can see, last year it was released in March and it was released in June. So I'm going to try to refresh this here on the dates. I know there's a section here where I can change the dates. And let's put 6, right? Doesn't let me. It doesn't let me change this. This is the last time that it was shown. So if we can find, or if somebody can find, a updated version from 331 to 630, and I'm gonna try that one more time. 630. It won't let me. We will have more information on what's going on, because if the shareholders' equity is negative, everything going on here is honestly not that significant to the company, because this is just gonna, just like it went up, it's gonna come right back down. And that's just assuming that it is negative. And the reason why it'll go down is because it won't attract investors. It's not that like I'm predicting that or anything. It's gonna actually shy away or shoo away investors that are interested. But the only thing saving this from continuing a rally and actually keeping itself leveled up, excuse that stuff, is the market capitalization that it has right now. And why is this happening? Excuse me for that. I apologize. It keeps jumping me back. Well, as we saw earlier, the market capitalization is about 12 billion. So that is positive as long as long-term debt did not go up, and as long as shareholders' equity goes from a negative to a positive in some way, and that it stays either above the long-term debt or close to it. Because long-term debt is always going to be there, especially a growing company. This is going to be a growing company with potential, but they also need to weigh out how much debt they can handle if they want to sustain themselves. So let's go ahead and look at this chart. I wanted to share that information just so you guys can have that. Oh, and another thing I saw was, sorry to jump right back, between year to year, revenue has been made. So this company is selling products, because there's a lot of speculation with a lot of these EV companies that haven't sold products yet. How do we value them? How do we know if they're even doing anything? And here you could see that the annual revenue for 2019 was 56% up. It was 1.124 billion. And then obviously it's gone up since 2017 all the way till now. And then for the last 12 months, ending again March 31st, there's no new information now. They should release a June one hopefully soon. Um, they've made a little bit less than what they made for 2019 revenue, but at the end of the day, it's a matter of the increase not from obviously 2018 to 2019, but I guess overall, and it's literally 135.15% increase. So revenue's coming in. Now for the quarter of March, which is concerning, right, is there was a decline of 20%. It was this amount. It was 0.194 billion. So I'm really curious to know, is this market capitalization that this company has right now due to the amount of investors that are committed and brought this from here to here, right? And that's not even where it started. It literally started down here at $2. When you think about that, right? If the market cap was about, I don't know, 1 billion or less than 1 billion, that just multiplied obviously by 8, whatever it was, just by looking at the shares, how they went up from April till now, and March was even probably another point where this was even lower than that. It was almost at $1. Yeah, dollar and some change. So there has been an upward trend here, a tremendous trend. And my question is the market cap from revenue and shareholders' equity right now, or is it just because of the shareholders? Because if it's just off the shareholders, if investors get shooed away, like I said, and like they want to leave, this company can lose all that market capitalization, and then shareholders' equity and long-term debt may be imbalanced again, and then there's some big risk for being in this one. So keep that stuff in mind. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm not telling you to sell. Do your own due diligence. I found that very interesting. I'm looking forward to the 630 because it got released last year at that time, right? I'm going off of what last year's time was, and it shows here the dates. And if obviously 331 was last year's and they did it again now, I'm assuming 630 2019, there's going to be a 630 release of 2020 and then September. So that's what's going to be very interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that. So let's go ahead and see here what's going on for tomorrow. So this closed out at 330, excuse me. I mean 1330. Oh my gosh, I'm saying that completely wrong. Excuse that mistake. And we have some interesting things here to see. The first thing is the resistance level. The resistance level is actually slightly above the 50-day moving average. 50-day moving average is 1362. I'd write that down. And the resistance level is 1365. If that's broken through and used as support, the bulls are starting to gain control again. If they maintain themselves above it, they will be above the 50-day moving average and causing the opportunity to break through new resistance levels and turning this chart bullish again. But remember, 1646 is the key indicator of how much more bullish this could be. On the other hand, if the bears continue to tear this apart, their goal is going to be to tear through 1285. If they can break through 1285, they just brought this stock further away from the 50-day moving average, bringing it down to much more bearish territory. And two things can happen. The bears continue to maintain control, or the bulls will take advantage of this price and bring this one back up.